The View. It's like it's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like here, let's look.
The clash between Sunny Hostin and the tag team of Greg Gutfeld and Tyrus on a primetime panel wasn't just a heated exchange, it was a spectacle that laid bare the shifting tides of political commentary. It's as if the stage transformed into a verbal coliseum where earnest lectures collided with razor-sharp wit, and the audience was left picking their jaws off the floor. The View, once a platform for serious discourse, has morphed into something resembling a medical ward showcasing human missteps, a carnival sideshow where political oddities are put on display. Instead of bearded ladies or two-headed cows, though, it's a parade of sanctimonious monologues and performative outrage. But when Gutfeld and Tyrus stepped into the ring, they didn't just roast Sunny Hostin, they turned her into the main course at a savage media cookout. One moment, she's perched on her soapbox, delivering her usual blend of moral certainty and prosecutorial fervor. The next, she's verbally folded like a napkin at a Michelin star dinner. It wasn't just shade, it was a full-blown eclipse. This showdown had it all: ruthless jabs, brutal one-liners, and awkward pauses so heavy you'd think the broadcast signal dropped. Gutfeld and Tyrus didn't pull punches. They landed each one with the precision of a sniper and the sarcasm of a high school reunion gone rogue. The question lingers, how did a standard panel discussion spiral into a roast battle that left Sunny reeling? It's a story of chaos dressed in a suit and tie, a masterclass in dismantling the polished facade of modern punditry. And Sunny, bless her heart, handed them the game ball. Her question, steeped in her signature righteous indignation, was the spark that ignited the firestorm. Without it, the exchange might have been a footnote in a forgettable election cycle. Instead, it became a cultural moment that exposed the cracks in mainstream media's tired playbook. Sunny Hostin is a force in her own right. She strides into debates like a prosecutor entering a courtroom, armed with facts, side-eye, and an unshakable belief in her own correctness. Her vibe is all business, no giggles, no nonsense. She's the type to fact-check you mid-sentence while delivering a stare so sharp it could cut through concrete. Her energy screams, "I've done my research, and you're already wrong." It's a persona that thrives on The View, where she plays the role of the moral arbiter, ready to lecture the panel and the audience alike. But when you put her up against Gutfeld and Tyrus, it's like tossing a deer into a UFC weigh-in. The two of them, a lion and a crocodile, didn't come to fight each other. They teamed up, locked in on their prey, and turned the segment into a verbal demolition derby. The dynamic was electric from the start. Gutfeld, with his stand-up comedian instincts, treats every news segment like a personal stage. Headlines are just setups for his punchlines, and he delivers them with a wit so sharp it should come with a warning label. Watching him go after Sunny is like witnessing a Broadway playwright roast a soap opera diva, dramatic, ruthless, and far too well crafted. He doesn't just mock her. He turns her into a walking caricature of everything he despises about legacy media. "Scum, but at least you're honest scum," he quips, a line so savage yet surgical it could be framed. He calls out her dramatic monologues, her holier-than-thou attitude, and the polished veneer that masks recycled talking points. In Gutfeld's eyes, Sunny isn't just a pundit, she's a symbol of how serious news has become painfully performative, a daytime drama masquerading as discourse. Then there's Tyrus, a different kind of beast. While Gutfeld throws verbal fireworks, Tyrus moves like a calm storm, slow, steady, and far more dangerous than he lets on. If Gutfeld's a sniper, Tyrus is a wrecking ball. He doesn't need to raise his voice. He lets the silence do the work, dragging it out like he's watching his opponent trip in slow motion. His approach is surgical in its simplicity. He waits, observes, then drops a single line that shuts the entire debate down. When Sunny's arguments get tangled in their own complexity, Tyrus doesn't bother untangling them. He just raises an eyebrow as if to say, "Girl, what are you even talking about?" His one-liners are delivered with the calm of someone reading a grocery list, but they hit like an anvil. "You just exposed yourself, and I didn't even have to try," his vibe seems to say. It's trolling without effort, and it's devastating. The moment that crystallized this clash came when Sunny leaned into her usual moral lecture tone, the kind that signals she's about to school the room. She was railing against the usual suspects: painting a picture of systemic injustice with her trademark blend of righteous fury and rehearsed gravitas. But Gutfeld and Tyrus weren't having it. Gutfeld struck first, turning her lecture into a comedy sketch. He flipped her words, twisting her earnestness into something that sounded like it was generated by an AI trained on hashtags and outrage posts. The View doesn't need to find Trumpers. It needs to fire its race baiters, he said, his sarcasm slicing through the studio like a chef's knife through butter. The audience barely had time to process the jab before Tyrus stepped in, cool as ever, and delivered the finisher. Sounds like she's got a software update overdue. The room went silent, then erupted. It wasn't just a joke, it was a precision-guided missile that obliterated Sunny's carefully curated seriousness. What made this exchange so effective wasn't just the words, it was the rhythm. Gutfeld's rapid-fire sarcasm peeled back Sunny's confidence layer by layer, like someone fast-forwarding through a tedious documentary. He called out her obsession with race, her performative outrage, even her appearance on PBS's Finding Your Roots, where her advocacy for reparations was juxtaposed with the revelation that she's descended from European slave owners. She's so wrapped up in identity, she had no idea who she was, Gutfeld quipped, turning her own narrative against her. The audience howled as he painted her as the high priestess of performative virtue, her every word a script from the outrage playbook. Then Tyrus, with his stone-cold delivery, sealed the deal. His one-liners didn't just land, they lingered, exposing the absurdity of her overly polished arguments. The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy, he said, his voice steady but cutting. You've been telling lies for years, and now you're carrying a big bag of rocks because it's too harmful for your ego to admit you were dishonest. This wasn't just a roast, it was a cultural moment. The View, with its earnest panelists and predictable talking points, has become a relic of a bygone era of political commentary. Sunny represents the old guard, polished, controlled, moralistic. Her style depends on the audience nodding along to her solemn tone, even when her arguments are built on shaky ground. But Gutfeld and Tyrus are the new wave, raw, funny, unpredictable, and brutally honest. They don't just comment, they dismantle. Their humor is a scalpel, slicing through the fake outrage and puffed-up self-importance that defines so much of mainstream media. When Sunny tried to counter with her usual emotionally loaded rebuttals, they didn't just deflect, they turned her words into punchlines. Her serious persona crumbled under the weight of their comedy, which exposed her contradictions in real time. The genius of Gutfeld and Tyrus lies in their chemistry. They're like peanut butter and jelly if the jelly was sarcasm and the peanut butter packed a punch. Gutfeld is the live wire, a sharp-tongued intellectual whose jokes cut deeper than any think piece. His wit is layered, blending cultural digs, media critique, and biting humor like a chef plating a gourmet insult. He doesn't just joke, he exposes, peeling back the layers of Sunny's fake persona to reveal the PR machine underneath. Tyrus, on the other hand, is the calm before the storm. Where Gutfeld is a flaming comet tearing across the sky, Tyrus is the silent meteor that crashes down hard. His humor is low-key, slow burn, but deadly. He doesn't perform, he observes, letting Sunny's arguments collapse under their own weight before delivering a one-liner that feels like a finishing move in slow motion. Their tag team dynamic is what makes them unstoppable. Gutfeld storms in first, his sarcasm hitting like a flurry of jabs, stirring the pot and getting the crowd hyped. He calls out Sunny's stone-faced seriousness, mocking the way she performs every opinion like it's an award-winning monologue. Then Tyrus glides in, calm and cool, and drops the uppercut. One sentence, one look, and it's over. The audience is howling, the tension is broken, and Sunny's intensity suddenly feels out of place. Together, they don't just clash with her, they orchestrate her downfall. Gutfeld sets the stage like a stand-up headliner. Tyrus closes the show like a hitman with a smirk. It's a rhythm so tight it feels like a perfectly timed knockout dance.